As we make our way through 2021, you might think something like the NBA would be going smoothly and the players are ready to get back into the sport once again. However, the reality is far from that. As trade rumors begin to surface, the landscape of the NBA could be changed for 2022. Today, we're going to be looking at some of the NBA trade rumors that could change everything for the 2022 season. You don't want to miss this list. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. Number 1. Ben Simmons, Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, so with their fresh loss to the Atlanta Hawks, the Philadelphia 76ers seem like they need to change this up for this upcoming season. In the 7-game series loss to Atlanta, Ben Simmons attempted only 3 shots during the fourth quarter. Due to this, some recent reports suggest that his trade value is at an all-time low. This is despite him being a finalist for NBA Defensive Player of the Year. As you could imagine, with this and his failure to throw free throws, it's hard to imagine his trade value increasing anytime soon, which could mean a trade of some sorts on the horizon. Next up is number 2, Kemba Walker, Boston Celtics. Even though Walker just signed a whopping $140.79 million contract, he has found himself on the NBA trade block due to a knee injury. This is a man who the Boston Celtics limited to 90 games since they picked him up back in 2019, and who is set to make $73.6 million over the next 2 seasons. However, even with his success, we could see another team pick him up for cheap due to his complications. Walker is still averaging 19 points since the start of the latest 2019-20 season. We wish him the best. Next, we have number 3, Karl Anthony Towns, Minnesota Timberwolves. This scenario doesn't seem as unlikely anymore. Karl Anthony Towns has a future that depends on whether the Minnesota Timberwolves retain their top 3 picks in the 2021 drafts for the NBA. If the selection remains in their hands, it will be unprotected in the 2022 season. This uncertainty could lead to a trade-up amongst the Wolves. We could be seeing Towns be traded off for a fresh new rookie, such as the number 1 pick of Anthony Edwards, which would allow them to trade Towns for a huge amount of money. As I said before, this scenario doesn't seem unlikely, does it? Let us know what you think in the comments. Next up, we have number 4, Kyrie Irving, Brooklyn Nets. This one is especially important. Kyrie Irving, known for his questionable mentality during games, could be seeing the trade block for next year's season. His recent issues with the NBA, like the time he didn't show up to a game due to attending his sister's birthday party, breaking the NBA's COVID-19 protocols, shows his mentality isn't the greatest amongst the NBA's finest. Despite him being an elite all-around player, this large issue could see him being traded off for other pieces. Hopefully he gets his act together. We are at the halfway point. Next up is number 5, Kristaps Porzingis, Dallas Mavericks. Porzingis' positions have been littered with inconsistencies and rumors for a while now. He is one of the speculated blockbuster trades from this past March, and is unknown whether his team sees him as an elite option to popular player Luka Doncic. Porzingis' injuries and lack of defense improvement have us thinking he may be on his way out of the Mavericks. If he is on the trade block, he will be such high value for other teams as he remains as a major force for offense on teams. Whether the Mavericks let him go or he stays, we are sure he will be playing in the 2022 season. Next, number 6, Kevin Love, Cleveland Cavaliers. No matter what happens, veteran player Kevin Love is owed a massive $59 million over the next 2 seasons. This huge amount of money could be what sees the Cavaliers to part ways with Love. Though it is hard to call Love a star, he is still a very important player who brings a lot of skills to the table that NBA teams are still looking for. However, not a lot of teams would go out of their way to acquire Love, especially with his large contract in play. But with his important skills and veteran history, we could be seeing a team pick him up before the next season begins. Hopefully, he finds a new home better suited for his skills. Next up is number 7, Pascal Siakam, Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors could be seeing a huge upset over the course of the offseason, with Siakam signing a 4-year, $136.9 million extension with the Raptors before the 2019-20 season began. It seemed like he was there for the long haul, but this could be wrong. Though the Raptors have committed to Siakam, they have not seen any recent improvement in the areas the team so desperately wanted. This season, he has struggled with his outside shot, but is still a very talented scorer. Even with this track record and contract, he could be on the chopping block for the Raptors. But some good news is that it will not be easy for them to find a replacement due to his position and skill. Good luck to him. Now is number 8, Bradley Beal, Washington Wizards. This one is kind of a sad one. Beal is a shooting guard superstar who has recently been involved in some trade rumors amongst the NBA. He pledges his commitment to the Washington Wizards, but they don't seem to be supporting him with the talent he needs around him. Out of a lot of players on this list, Beal is one one of the only ones where any team would happily take his contract and add them to their roster of players. He is a player who continues to improve despite his age of 27. Sadly, his trade to another team is an inavailability at this point, but who will pull the trigger? Next up is number 9, Jeremy Grant, Detroit Pistons. This one is purely a rumor. There has been talk that ahead of the March NBA trade deadline that Jeremy Grant would be moved. This came out after he had just signed a 3-year contract for a whopping $60 million. Despite his average of 22.6 points in the recent season, it seems he does not fit the Detroit Pistons' long-term desire for the team. That said, we could be seeing Grant moving teams this summer, shaking up the 2022 lineup. Next up is an interesting one. Number 10, Andrew Wiggins, Golden State Warriors. Wiggins, a breakout player who just played in a breakout season for the Golden State Warriors, finally turned into the player most people thought he would be when he was drafted back in 2014. With his average of 18 points and 4.7 rebounds and his elite defense, he's an amazing player. However, the idea here is that his long-term stay with the Golden State Warriors could mean he may be traded off during the summer, ready for the 2022 season. Next is number 11, Clint Capella, Atlanta Hawks. Recently, the Atlanta Hawks have been increasing their lineup with their contract with Onyeka Okongwu and possibly even re-signing John Collins. With this, their lineup is more than solid. The 26-year-old Clint Capella is averaging 15.4 points. If they decide to trade, the Hawks could get a good deal. Though they have not had him long, Capella would be worth it for the Hawks to trade for, bolstering their roster even further. With the NBA draft lottery coming up soon, we could see even more changes to some teams' lineup. The Toronto Raptors could add some more elite players to their team with this upcoming draft, which could lead to even more mix-ups with players. We could be seeing some huge changes on the horizon. Teams have until July 19th, 2021 to decide and create some options for themselves. These trade scenarios could change the entire landscape of the NBA. When new players enter the field, some new talent could arise and break out into mainstream success. A lot of young players are being drafted, meaning more players are being prepped for their upcoming teams. One huge mix-up outside of the drafting could be changed with COVID-19. Players need to be tested negative to play on the courts. It has been said that out of all the 149 players tested for COVID-19 since June 16th, none of them have tested positive for the virus. And it has also been established that anyone who has been or does become infected is to follow the NBA's own guidelines on the matter. Hopefully this means no players will have to leave due to complications, but it's all up in the air right now. And that is our list. Though these were not in any order, which do you think is the most interesting trade rumors out of them all? Post your thoughts in the comments below. Also, tell us what you think about the current landscape of the sport. We hope you really enjoyed this list, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.